right, let's get started.
All right, we're gonna start. Please be seated. Thank you. That's good.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight. In this next section, we will hear from the Democratic candidates for District 43. This is a very special district because this is the first district that was drawn during the redistricting process last year for the Asian American majority community here in South Brooklyn. And Asian Wave Alliance worked really hard to advocate for this district. So I'm very glad that we're hosting candidates that are coming out to run. It's a competitive race. We've got candidates in the Democratic and the Republican primaries, and we'll hear from the Republican candidates next. So with that said, I want to welcome Stanley Ng and Susan Zhuang, who are joining us today. We did invite the third candidate, Wei Chan. Unfortunately, she had a schedule conflict today and will not be joining us. So let me tell you the format of this section for those that have missed it. We're going to have about 30 minutes for both of you for this panel. And the first question I've provided to you in advance. But the rest of the questions, as I said before, were not known to any of the candidates before today. You will have 1 minute for the first question and then 90 seconds for the rest of the questions that we will provide to you. I am going to do this with Phil Wong for this section. So, easy one that hopefully you've prepared for is, why are you running for this seat? We're going to start with Stanley and then Susan, and we'll alternate.
Hi, my name is Stanley Ng, and I am running for District 43 City Council. I am a lifelong New Yorker, born and raised in Manhattan, Chinatown, moved into this area of Brooklyn back in 1989. I know this area of Brooklyn, I know Bensonhurst, I know Dyker. I've been here for many, many years. I raised 3 kids in the District 20 K-8 schools. Now, I am running based on 3 items. Number 1, public safety. Number 2, education excellence. Number 3, affordability. Number 1, on public safety, I currently volunteer at a community watch group out in Sheepshead Bay to learn the community and learn public safety. Number 2, on education, I spent 10 years on the District 20 CEC and the Citywide Council for High School. Number 3, affordability. I have spent the last 2 years dealing with food pantries and food banks, volunteering and helping out. Now, you will learn more about me during our session. I'd like to thank you and ask you a question.
Susan, come on.
First of all, thank you everyone for coming, and thank you Asian Wave. And I understand, and we work together during the redistricting time. It's very hard to get an Asian district. I'm running for this seat because I worked in the district since 2014. I have been helping a lot of people in the office every year. I work for Assemblyman William Colton. Our office seeing 5,000 to 6,000 constituents every year. I do see the struggles they are facing every day. A lot of them they are from immigrants background. They don't speak English. They need a lot of help, but they don't know where to find that help. I see a lot of struggles in the community. I do want to help them. And we do need a strong person with the leadership and the experience running for this seat, because we need affordable housing in the district. We need public safety in the district. We need education. A lot of things we need to do to make our quality of life. Thank you.
Okay, this question is about the Progressive Caucus in the City Council. Will you join this caucus if elected? And do you agree with every one of their core positions? And if not, Please name and explain one Progressive Caucus position that you oppose. Bear in mind that each member of the Progressive Caucus says that their membership in the caucus does not conflict with their ability to follow their own principles. And Susan, you start.
This is a good question. Definitely, I will not join the Progressive Caucus because my philosophy, the things I have been doing in the past, is not the value they are doing right now. I support police, NYPD, I support police, I support law enforcement. That's a value they don't believe in. And that will be turning me off. I will not join them at all.
The exact same question was asked another debate, and I gave my answer then. And the two things I'm going to talk about is number one, they believe in defunding the police. Many people left them for that. I will not join them based on that one piece alone, which is defunding the police. Second thing, there was some anti-Semitic that was act that was voted upon April 29th on, I believe it was called the End Jew Hate Day, and many of the progressive members voted against them. I am not going to be aligned with those people. Sorry, thank you.
This is on a question on the unlicensed street vendors. Unlicensed street vendors are cluttering the streets of Brooklyn's Chinatown, especially on 7th and 8th Avenue. Do you support removing unlicensed street vendors and returning the sidewalk to pedestrians? If so, do you support relocating the unlicensed street vendors to another location? Stanley, you go first, then Susan.
I would say this is what I would call a two-part question. Number one, we need more licenses. That's the whole problem. Right now, there's roughly more than a 10-year wait to get a license. And that's one of the reasons why many of these people on the streets are there without a license. And when that happens, you're going to have mayhem. We don't have enough license to hand out. And I believe in reading up the information, it's more than a 10-year wait. So it's unfair for people to have this kind of long wait time. Second thing is that many people, these are immigrants. They need to make a living. If they cannot make a living on the streets, where are they going to make a living? We have to be compassionate, okay? So the thing is that, number one, we need to increase the number of licenses for these people, and number two, we have to be a little bit compassionate and see how we can help them. Thank you.
When we hear unlicensed, what's that mean? It means a problem. It's illegal. And on 8th Avenue, we have been seeing a lot of seniors sit in the sidewalk and sell the goodies. Sometimes my daughter will ask when we walk by, "Mommy, can you buy this? Can you buy that?" I want to support them. But how we return and give back the street to the pedestrians, and how we help them, what we can do to help them, I always ask myself those questions. They are unlicensed. Maybe they don't have the money to pay the license. Maybe they don't speak the language to know how to apply license. We need to have government, the city agency come to help them. We need to have the government agency speak the language. Maybe create the program with special loan program, with special grants to assist them. They need help. And also we need safely transfer them from the street to the other location. We do have the space in the community able to relocate them. We need help them. And it's not only help them, it's all help us. We as a community, we need to work together, help them and help ourselves.
Okay. The next question is regarding the migrants coming from the southern border. Mayor Eric Adams stood inside the Port Authority bus terminal for several nights, greeting the migrants from the southern border. In one video, he said to the migrants, "Welcome to New York. while giving out supply bags, goodie bags. Now, he stopped doing that recently, and he's now busing the migrants to Rutland County and other counties to the north while looking for public schools to house the migrants. Two-part question. Do you support New York City being a sanctuary city while receiving little federal or state aid? And what would be your solution to this migrant crisis? Susan, you start.
I personally an immigrant. I can understand why immigrants want to come to our country. It's a great country. Everyone can have an American dream. But how do we control this immigrant crisis? What we should do to make sure they come here legally and make sure they come here benefited to our country. And also, I do believe the current immigrant crisis is a major problem. The government has been spending large sum of money to help them. This is not sustainable. And also, there's issues we are facing in our community. And a lot of homeless issue, a lot of housing affordability. We need to take care of our own people first. If we cannot take care of our own people, how are we going to take care of other people? Your children is hungry. How you make sure your neighbor's kids is not hungry? Your own children is hungry. What you should do? We need to help our own people first.
Yeah, it's a two-part question. Do you support New York City being a sanctuary city while receiving little federal or state aid to the migrant crisis? And what would be your solution to this migrant crisis?
Okay, I'm going to answer this with a personal story. I am the 5th generation of Chinese immigrant. What that means for us is that my great-great-grandfather came to America during the gold rush. He went back to China afterward. My great-grandfather came afterward in time for the Golden Pacific Railroad, something we call a head road. After that, my grandfather came over during the Great Depression. This is all during the Chinese Exclusion Act. Today, if you look at what's going on with the borders, this is the same form of discrimination that has happened back in our time, 1880 into World War II, okay, keeping people out. Now, whether or not I agree or not, the question was, do I believe in New York City being a sanctuary city? I would probably say up to a point. But the problem is that we are at the breaking point, okay? Currently, many of the people coming over from China are coming in legally. These people have the same issue we had back in the 1880s. Think about this. If it wasn't for what we did back then, the Chinese population would have been wiped out throughout history, up until World War II, okay? So what's my solution? We have to petition the government for more money, and it's possible we may have to slow down what's happening at the borders. Thank you.
The proliferation of illegal cannabis shops in New York City, there are 1,500 of them citywide according to Eric Adams, is invading family-friendly neighborhoods. Some of these illegal operations are blatantly located near schools and churches and sell to anybody, including kids. What solutions do you propose to rein in on these cannabis stores that are operating illegally in our city? Stanley, you go first.
There is a shop